Hello, everybody. It's John again with a 10-minute movie review. This is Indian Cine-MANIAC. And I say 10-minute review, but as I said last week, it might be 10-ish or so, especially this one. I might go a little bit longer because I got a lot to say about this movie. So this week's movie is the often recommended Dhoom 2. That's right, 2006's Dhoom 2. Now, I've seen one. I saw 3 originally, and I love 3. So let me just state that right out of the gate. So you guys tell me that Dhoom 2 is the best of the 3. So let me tell you what I think. First, it was directed by Sanjay Gadvi, which is who also directed the first one. It stars Abishek Bachchan and Uday Chopra as Jai and Ali, the buddy cops of the 3 films. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I think the H is silent. Hrithik Roshnan, I hope I'm saying that right. He plays Mr. A, and he is a good. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, who after this got married to Abishek, which is interesting. Bipasha Basu, who played, unbeknownst to me, 2 roles. I did not know that till I did research after I watched the film. I had no idea they were the same character. Talk about that in a second. And finally, Rimi Sen, who plays Sweetie, his wife, Jai's wife from the first movie. So it starts off this. Okay, so look, this is no different than the other Doom movies. Okay, master thief, Jai's trying to capture him. Uday is goofy and is after women, and really doesn't need to be there. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. So that's the plot of the movie. Okay. Now there's a little more to that. Like for instance, Jai gets this woman who I guess became his wife in real life, to go undercover to win Mr. A over to pretend to be a thief, so they can catch him in the act of thievery and arrest him. Of course, based on Mr. A's gorgeous eyes and beautiful hair and 6-pack abs, you know how that's going to go. So that's the gist of the movie. Now, it opens with a great scene. The queen has her crown on a train, and there's this train heist. The guy parachutes in, lands on the train. It's a great scene. I guess most of it was green screen, but it's really, really well done. Now, my one complaint is all the security people start firing bullets at him, and he apparently has a bulletproof snowboard, and he looks like Captain America with the shield, just blocking these bullets. Okay, I thought that was kind of stupid. But when he jumps off the snowboard, and he's in the desert, middle of the desert, he's chained onto the train. He's snowboarding on the sand. It was cool. It was cool. And there was a couple scenes like that, real good action scenes during the robberies. Motorcycles. He loves motorcycles. Not like the first one, but there was some good motorcycle stuff in this movie. There was also in one of the robberies, he's in a museum, and it was really well done. He hides himself among statues, and you can't even tell till the camera starts really pulling in. Then he opens his eyes. I thought that was really cool. I did have a question. On the first stakeout of the first robbery, there was a truck. It was a van, and it said on the side of the van, "Burp, the food people." Is that real? Is that something in India? Because I've never seen that before. Or is that just a gag? Because product placement. Now, this is something I haven't noticed before in other movies, but Coca-Cola must have spent a lot of money in this movie because their logo was everywhere. Now, I'm not saying in the West we don't do that. The Hollywood movies always do it, but I haven't seen it in Indian movies. And it was hard not to notice. I mean, they were shoving that in your face. There was also, I think, a jean tie-in, jeans, but I didn't catch it. So it wasn't as overt as the Coca-Cola logo, but whatever. So one of the things that opened up with a huge musical number that was in English. So I was like, oh, that's different. And it was a cool number. They had a lot of dancers. Everyone looks fantastic. The choreography is great. And now, I will say this about the songs. I know in Indian cinema, this is a big part, and especially in these Doom movies. I also know that the soundtrack of this movie did huge business. Okay, and it did have a great soundtrack. My one complaint about the songs, as good as I thought they were, and the production numbers themselves, they very rarely tied like to the plot. like some of the movies you see, like even in Doom 3, at least the musical numbers fit with the plot. This, like the plot just stopped. Then they'd do this music video. Then they'd go back to the plot. And the other thing was the songs went on really a long time, longer than I remember other songs going. And maybe that's just something that they do in these Doom movies. But I found that it got a little repetitive. But again, they're all great. They look great. The dancers look great. The leads who are dancing look great. But just a little too long. And there was a lot of them in this movie. And the worst one was Uday Chopra. I keep picking on the poor guy. But he does a song that was called Excuse to Please. And it was dumb. Frankly, I think he's a dumb character. Okay, I get it. He's a comedic sidekick. But they had this annoying music every time he did something. It was a trumpet, high-pitched trumpet. And then they did the flashbacks like they did in the first one, and they do in the third one of him. You know, he meets these women. He envisions himself marrying them. Ha, 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 ha. So funny. I think he's a throwaway character, and I don't know why he's there other than he's somehow related to the producer. So I guess that answers my own question. So I don't think they need him. And by the way, he was fourth in the billing. So that tells you something about what the producers think of him, too. There was also a scene that you haven't seen a lot of, at least I haven't in the movies, where Mr. A kissed, I don't know what a character's name, Aishwarya. And I went, wow, that's a little more passionate than kisses I've seen in these movies. Well, I found out that there was some kind of lawsuit brought against them for obscenity for that kiss. And I mean, it wasn't a 20-minute kiss. It was just, it was a little more passionate than others I've seen, but it was nothing. I guess that's just how people react because these are family-friendly movies, I guess. So I was disappointed that Sweetie wasn't in it more because I really liked her in the first one and I thought she was adorable. But in this one, I don't want to sound harsh, but she was kind of a shrew. I mean, she was kind of whiny. She was pregnant. I get it. But my God, she was so unlikable, unlike the first movie. It was like, when the female cop showed up that was an old friend of Jai's, you're like, go with her. Get away from Sweetie because she's just annoying. And then you never see her again. And she wasn't in the third one, so I don't know what that was about. But she was wasted in this one. And the female cop, who I thought was, first of all, she was gorgeous. But she was, the only thing I didn't like about her was the way she was waving around the gun. Like no cop would ever wave around a gun. I don't mean when she was like at the range, or when she was on the stakeout, but just talking casually. She's waving. No cop would ever do that. It was kind of silly. But I didn't know that she played the sister in Brazil because I didn't even think they looked alike. I don't know what they did. Maybe it was the hair that threw me off. But I didn't know they were the same person until afterwards. So I guess that's on me. I wasn't paying attention. But they're beautiful. The women are just, oh my God, they're just gorgeous. So anyway, so that was good. I was sorry to see the cop go though, because she was only in, the beginning, and then you don't see her again until you go to Brazil, which by the way, first Indian movie to be shot in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And it was a beautiful setting for the movies. Look, the way I think about these movies, they're supposed to be about Jai and Ali, but they're not. It's like the Batman movies aren't about Batman. They're about the villains. And in all three movies, the villains are the I don't want to say, well, yeah, the best part of the movies. They're the most charismatic. And this one, he gets more screen time than Jai does. No, it's not even close. And he's very charismatic. He's got a great presence to him, great look to him. He was a bit of an anti-hero. He didn't seem to be all bad. Although, towards the end, he did some really bad things. And he gets her to turn too to do some really bad things. Now, that's why I think in Doom 3 they went with Aamir Khan because look, and again, we're going to include spoilers of Doom 3. He played two roles and he was amazing. That's why I think Doom 3 is the better of the three movies. I think I think the story's better. I think the musical numbers tie more to the story, and I think Aamir Khan is the best villain of the three because of the two roles that he gets to play. Okay. But I like this movie. I didn't like it as much as I like Doom 3, but you could also see that like Jai was getting more into the character, very cool character. But I also think at the end of the movie, look, I thought the ending was kind of, I think it would have been better if she shot him for real, rather than what they did. Cause Abraham died in the first one. So then, she shoots him and and he falls off this cliff. By the way, I want to know if that waterfall scene was done green screen, because it looked to me like those guys were standing on top of that waterfall. So you tell me what you know. I want to see the making of this. But then they cut to a scene in Brazil where she's in a bar. She walks over, and there's Mr. A. You know, he's wearing a Caribbean shirt. He's got the long hair, kind of bleached out a little bit from the sun. And they think they got away with it. And all of a sudden you hear, Doom Machale, Doom. But no, well, actually, it was a whistle of Doom Machale. And there's Jai at the pool table. And he says, you guys are dead, so I'm going to let you go. Here's the account numbers. Well, she threw a grenade at a helicopter and killed everybody in the helicopter. So would his character really let them go? I think it would have been better if they just killed him and ended it that way. And that's how they should end those movies. The bad guy shouldn't live like the first one or the third one. So overall, and these are quick movies too. I mean, these are a fun watch. There's always something going on. Again, I could do without Uday Chopra. I just find him annoying. I'm at that point now where I just find him annoying. And yeah, I get it. He likes women, and I get it. I totally get it. But and the other thing is, I wouldn't mind seeing more Jai. The fact that he got so little screen time compared to Mr. A, I don't know. I didn't think I thought he deserved better than that. But what are you going to do? And one other thing I'll say, the movie is very funny. It's very light, but there's a scene in it where they play Russian roulette, and it's intense because the whole predicate is it's got one bullet in it. Now we find out afterwards there was no bullet in it, but you don't know that. And the way it plays out, and she's crying because she doesn't want to kill him. She doesn't want him to kill her. Well, this was just a loyalty test. And once she passed the test, he knew that he had her loyalty. But it was compared to the rest of the movie, it was a surprisingly dark scene and played very well by both actors. And the final thing I'll say, the makeup when he was in disguise was really good. Other than the one I thought was stupid was when he had the long hair and the bandana. I wasn't buying that for a second. But the old age makeup, when he was dressed up like the Queen, really well done. So I like this movie. I liked all three movies, but again, I will tell you, I think Doom 3 is the best of the three. That's just my opinion. So that's it on Doom 2. So you don't have to talk to me about Doom 2 anymore. The next film I'm going to watch based on your recommendations, because I was looking for John Abraham film where he doesn't play a villain. So I'm going to be watching Madras Cafe. I think that's how you pronounce it. Which is a spy thriller, I guess. So I'm really looking forward to that because I wanted to see him as a hero and because I loved him as the villain. So that's going to be the next one. So as always, I hope I've earned your subscription. So please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, and as always, smash the like button. It really does make a difference. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm sorry this probably went over 10 minutes. I had a lot to say about this movie. Thanks again for watching, and we will talk to you soon.